Let's chant Om 3 times. So breathing in for Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahehi Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Vasudevasudam devam kamsachanooramardhanam devaki paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Is the screen visible to everyone?
Yes, dear.
So yesterday, I think we need to redo the last bit of the Asat and Asat.
Yeah, maybe you can do the whole verse, yesterday's verse.
Okay. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubayor api drishtontas, tvananyos darshabhihi. Asattaha for the unreal, bhavaha being, na vidyate is not there. Sataha for the real, api also, abhavaha non-being, absence, na vidyate is not there. Ubhayoha anayoha. Of these two, the Sat and Asat, Antaha, the ultimate truth, Tattva, Darshibhihi, by the knowers of the truth, tu, indeed, Drishtaha is seen. For the unreal, Mithya, there is never any being. For the real, there is never any non-being. The ultimate truth of both these is seen by the knowers of the truth. This is a very important verse, even though cryptic. For the Asat, a word we shall use as it is, there is no being, bhava. In other words, being is not there for the Asat. And for the Sat, there is no non-being. In the second line of the verse, Krishna went on to say that this fact is known by those people who know the ultimate truth about Sat and Asat. The first line is the crux of the verse. Asat means something that does not exist independently, and Sat is what exists independent of anything else. What is it that exists independently? Cold and heat, for example, do not exist independently because they depend upon a number of factors. There is no absolute cold existing by itself. That something is cold depends on something else. The temperature cannot reveal itself to you by itself unless you have a perception. Therefore, your perception is essential in order to understand that something is cold and something else is hot. When you say, this is a pot, does the word pot reveal an object that exists by itself, or does the object indicated by the word pot depend for its existence upon something else? If it depends on something else, clay, because of which the pot is there and unto which it will go back, that clay becomes the cause, karana, for the pot. The word pot has no real object outside of the word itself. It has no existence apart from clay. That which has a cause, that which depends upon something for its existence, that which does not independently exist is called asat. Shankara explains asat further. When we try to prove the existence of things that are dependent upon causes for their existence, such as cold and heat, or any given object, we find there is no self-existent thing at all among the objects of the world. Why? Because what is there is only a form, vikara, that keeps changing. Vyabhicharati. It is never the same, nor it can be the same. Shankara goes on.
Vyabicharan. Vyabicharan.
Vyabhi,
Vyabicharan.
Vyabhicharati. Thank you, Suresh. So it is never the same, nor can be the same. Shankara goes on to prove a point here. Suppose all pots are made of clay, but you have knowledge of only one pot. You know it is clay. If you know Satya, the truth, the cause, karana of all pots to be non-dual clay, regardless of which form any or all pots assume, you know they are nothing but this one clay. By knowing that one clay, you know all pots in the sense that they are not separate from the clay. Although this is a general knowledge, samanya jnana, of all pots as clay, and not the particular knowledge, vishesha jnana, of individual pots. It is knowledge of the whole. Then, what is a pot? It is purely a name for a form. Other than this, there is no pot that exists separate from clay, nor is the clay the pot. If it were, again, you would not need to make the pot, the clay being there already. Therefore, the clay is not the pot. If you remove the clay, where is the pot? Is it anywhere? It is something that you have to search for. Is it something that you have to search for? All that is there for the name pot is a form recognized as such. Anything that is time bound, like a pot, will change, and you cannot stop it because its nature is to keep on changing. When and how are you going to stop it? Therefore, what are you crying for? What are you sad for? Are you sad for something eternal because it is eternal? No. Sat is that which never changes. It has no non-existence, abhava at all. Sat is never negated at any time, whereas Asat never enjoys being on its own. Therefore, Sat cannot create any sorrow for you, and Asat is incapable of doing so because it does not exist in its own right. So, this is important. Sat cannot create any sorrow for you, and Asat is incapable of doing so because it does not exist in its own right. How can Asat create sorrow? In the vision of the Veda, you are the Sat and everything else is Asat. Asat cannot be a source of sorrow to Sat, and Sat cannot be a source of sorrow to you because it is you. The whole problem is one of confusion between Sat and Asat, between Atma and Anatma. Asat has no being, no bhava. It has no existence. Thus, it cannot be bhava, that which exists in all three periods of time. A thing that exists is bhava, and abhava is a thing that does not exist. The word bhava comes from the root word bhu, used in the sense of existence. It's very clear, no? Analysis of existence and non-existence. Tuchcha is another word for abhava and refers to certain combinations that do not exist at all. For example, a man's horn, Manushya Shringa, does not exist. Horn exists and man exists. Both are bhava, both exist. For these words, there are objects in the world which I know exist. But when I combine the two as man's horn, there is no such thing. Does the word asat in the verse mean tuchcha, non-existent? No, because it is unnecessary to say that something that is non-existent has no being. In some modern commentaries on the Gita, however, we do find asat being translated as and equated to non-existent. What purpose is served by this sentence? The non-existent, such as the man's horse, has no existence. No purpose is served by this sentence. That which we refer to as Sat, that we refer to as Asat, has an order of reality which is neither Satya, Bhava, nor Tuchya. There is another type of Abhava between these two, a non-existence that we call Asat here. For instance, we cannot dismiss the sense organs and sense objects as totally non-existent, Tuchya. Are they then Sat? Let us analyze them. A sense organ cannot be called a sense organ unless it perceives something. Eyes are a sense organ only because they see a form. Ears are a sense organ because they hear a sound, and the sense of smell, taste, and touch are all called sense organs because they contact with sense objects. How can you call eyes a sense organ if they do not see? If ears do not hear? There is no sense organ, even though the ear lobes may be used for earrings or for catching hold of someone. The earlobes, the earlobes, etc., are just the anatomical aspects of the sense called hearing. It is hearing that makes the ears a sense organ, and there is no such thing as sound without the ears, which establishes what? To, to establish the existence of one, we need to establish the existence of the other. When establishing the existence of either one, which depends on establishing the existence of the other, there must be some other basis for the existence of both. Thus, all of them depend on something that is self-existent called Sat. Because we cannot dismiss the sense organs and their sense objects as non-existent, we say they are asat. They are not totally non-existent. That is atyanta abhava. The sense organs and the sense objects do exist. All responses of pleasure and pain, sukha and dukkha, exist. You cannot dismiss them as non-existent, nor can you take them as independently existent. Therefore, for something that cannot be dismissed as non-existent, tuchha, and cannot be taken as independently existent, sat, we have to have a word, and that word is asat. Another word for asat is mithya. Asat or mithya is that which has no bhava, that which depends upon sat. Only when there is sat is asat possible. Therefore, mithya or asat is something whose existence depends upon another thing, and because it has no independent existence, it is not separate from that upon which it depends. It's also clear, no?
Can you repeat the
Tuchha.
last two sentences, please?
Okay. Another word for asat is mithya. Asat or mithya is that which has no bhava, that which depends upon sat. So that which has no existence of its own. So it depends upon sat. Only when there is sat is asat possible. Therefore, mithya or asat is something whose existence depends upon another thing, and because it has no independent existence, it is not separate from that upon which it depends. So the absolute reality, the sat, is consciousness, and everything else in the world, objects, sense organs, all that is mithya, asat. However, though they have a apparent existence, apparent reality, they are not sat. They are dependent on that absolute reality. So therefore, both are connected. They cannot be separated. That's what I got from this. Talking about something that is non-existent is Sucha, and Shankara says there's no need to even talk about it. What is not there in the apparent reality also is Tucha. But what is existent in the apparent reality but has no independent existence, it depends on the Sat. So therefore, though it has a apparent reality, its dependence on the absolute reality makes it inseparable from the Sat, the absolute reality. Very nice, very clear.
Actually, in our program also we say no, it how it is existent Only if you have experienced the cold, that perception you have, only then that exists. Otherwise, it on its own, it doesn't have any existence.
Hmm. So we perceive through our sense organs. So that is a reality. But it is not an absolute reality. It is an apparent reality which depends on the absolute. Because there is consciousness only, we are able to perceive. Isn't it? Because there is life, we are able to perceive. So this perception depends upon the consciousness. So that is why all the apparent reality is asat. And what exists and on whom everything depends is the consciousness. That is the sat. So though they are inseparable, you cannot separate the two. That's what is for me the key. It is not separate from which it depends. So it is very much connected to the one sat, to that consciousness. Because without that connection, it has no existence.
You're
I'll
talking
read
about
further.
Asat being the dependent, right? That Sat is not dependent.
Yeah.
So the Abhava is, the Sat is Abhava, and both are Bhava. So that, no, the Tucha is another word for Abhava, it says, refers to certain combinations.
Yeah.
Hmm.
See here, Sat has no bhava. And that which depends on Sat.
So there are three things here. One is Sat, Asat, and Tucha.
Tucha. Hmm.
So Sat is that which exists, non-changing, eternal, on which Asat depends upon. Like the rope is Sat and the snake is the Asat. The existence of the snake depends upon the rope. If there is no rope, there is no snake. So the rope is what is. What is the truth is the rope. What is the truth is the clay. The pot is only Nama Rupa, is only a form, and the form keeps changing. So therefore, Sat does not have any non-existence. Na sato vidyate bhavaha. So Sat does not have any non-existence. It is always existent. Na bhavo vidyate satah. The second line, of course, is related to Sat. So Sat does not have any non-existence, whereas Asat has no existence by itself, right? And then you have Tucha, which is completely not non-existence again, but that is another order of reality. It's like the example given is a man's horns or the rabbit's horns or the son of a barren woman. It is totally non-existent. Whereas the mithya, which is asat, has some order of reality, like all the body, mind, senses. You go through pain, you go through experiences. So there is some existence related to that. There is some reality associated with this. But is it true reality? Is it absolute? No. It is only relative. It is relative to the existence of Sat. Only if there is Atma, there is Anatma. Anatma cannot be a standalone by itself. Anatma exists because of Atma. If only the prana is there, look at the when you contrast a living body to a body where the soul is just left, the person just passed away. Till that time, the person is a walking, talking, living being, experiencing everything. But the moment the prana leaves, it is as good as a bag of, um, as good as a deflated football bag, football. There's nothing at all in that. So therefore, anatma has no absolute existence. So much of importance we give to this body, the mind, ego, whereas all that is just, it's in a total state of flux all the time, changing all the time. And that is what is aviveka. Aviveka is giving importance to that which is changing, thinking that is non-changing. So therefore, this atma, anatma, viveka is what is the basis of self-knowledge. The starting point will be to know atma and anatma.
So that's how the Mahans, the enlightened, know both.
Yeah. So that's why I feel when we go to Gurudev and people talk to him about all their troubles they have and this and that, for him it must be just like a leela. It's like, watching a soap opera.
And he has
But
a
not,
smile all the time on his
yeah,
face. Yeah.
yeah.
Truth he knows.
How we are,
Sometimes he pretends also as if he has not heard your problems.
yeah.
And
So therefore,
he says, you see the director behind all this play.
right.
So that's why Krishna also told Arjuna earlier, no, take it everything as humor.
Mm.
Have a
Cheerfully.
cheerful, yeah.
Mm. Cheerfully.
Mm.
Life is a game, play it well. All these came as proverbs, most likely from this knowledge.
And humor is so essential,
Mm.
Yeah. Actually, I want to know if there is any, I don't know if it's a very silly question, but is there any Shastra or Purana for humor, which I would like to read? Like there
Mhm.
is, for everything there is
You
a
just
Shastra.
spend some time with Kashi Bhaiya and you'll get it.
Okay.
He's so full of humor. Gurudev actually was mentioning, I think we should compile something and create another Upanishad on humor. So humor is something which lightens up the whole thing. It
Mm.
it is something when you laugh it off, when you laugh and let things go, then you're not getting stuck in the event or the situation or in that relationship or in the words. We tend to give so much of importance to words.
That bhajan शब्दों के जंगल में.
Mm. And in one of the recent quotes, knowledge quotes, Gurudev says, take the whole awakening is considering the whole world, whole material world as a wild forest with everything in it. But perfection is wanting to carve out a garden that you want it to be the way you want it to be. That is where we get stuck. We want to alter the reality, the changing flux, constant flux reality into what we think it should be. Non acceptance of what is and wanting things the way we want. when you actually look at this, nasato vidyate bhavo, it makes it feel so superfluous how we're giving importance to things that need not be given importance.
Because our sanskars, our tendencies, and our training from childhood is like that. No, that is why all importance to the what people will say. Okay, now Shravan is coming, this and that. Oh my God. Because we know that, okay, this body you need to leave one day, but then all the time keeping this thing in mind, it becomes very challenging. Every moment, day to day, some work or something is there. No, so people, objects, and situations are only working in the mind more predominantly.
No, we'll
Jay.
have to continue doing this with the awareness that, see, that is what he says in the 18th chapter, I think. Yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. We know this is all asat, but then you cannot be in inaction. You have to continue to act. As long as you have the prana in you, you continue to act, do what is required to be done. But with this knowledge, that is why he says, Yajna dana tapah karma na tyajet. We cannot give up this. That's what he's asking Arjuna to fight. Otherwise, he would have told Arjuna, hey, Arjuna, all this is asat. Forget about it. Go to Rishikesh. Come, let's go together. No. So, knowing that there are two orders of reality, keeping this knowledge at the background, holding on to that self that is the non-changing, eternal, rooting ourselves in that, then you work, act. There is no escaping doing things, including whatever pujas and whatever is necessary to be done. Till such time, of course, you have gained enough maturity from the ashramas, brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha. And then when you've gained enough maturity, then you can take to sannyasa and then let go of all the rituals. Till then, whatever is prescribed has to be followed. We cannot pick and choose, oh, this is fine, convenient, I'll do this. I will not do that. That's the importance of nitya karma, naimittika karma, prayaschitta karma. So it's been prescribed for a reason.
Yeah, everything is so interconnected.
Because the reason why we have this naimittika karma is so beautifully ingrained in the psychology of death. The person who is the main nearest kith and kin are involved in doing all the rituals, and this keeps them so engaged. The mind is all focused on that. So gradually, that depth and that severity of the anguish slowly starts losing its hold. And it's a beautiful way for them to transit from the physical loss of the loved one to reality that they're not there anymore. So they can go on, cope with life.
And also they are spirit level, they're still there. They're in different names and forms. That's all.
Yeah.
No, but this is true. You are involved with the whole rituals and all. It definitely changes the state of mind and emotions, and it helps us also to continue your normal life and move on. Otherwise, if you don't get involved with all the rituals, no, it may get inside some नासूर बोलते हैं ना, some kind of you just then try to suppress it and show and then continue your life, but then inside it is pricking something. But through the rituals and all, it's a group activity, no. And then we do Varsha Shraddha, then we do monthly this thing. All that slowly helps us to come out of, and then it fades away naturally. This I understood today first time. Very beautiful. Thank you, Brahmaraji.
Although, finally, ultimately, see, all this is part of the Karma Kanda. But what Vedanta says is Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. What Krishna says is all this Karma Kanda, rituals, prayers, and all of this is is part of the Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Sattva, Rajas, Tamo Gunas, all this is part of that. But then ultimately the goal is to be Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. Just drop all of this. But we cannot drop all of this without going through it. So you have to go through it, and then that's what Nana was saying the other day, only a pure mind. And how do we purify the mind? By doing these things, getting rid of our rajas and getting rid of ragat and nitya sattvastaha, when you're established in that sattva, then with in that pure mind, the grace of the divine, then that realization happens. But ultimately, we have to be nistraigunyo bhavajana, nistraigunya.
That's why in the
Which is
previous shloka also there was sentence till means in sannyasa then karmakanda is also not required. Till that time you
correct.
means become
Till
that
that time, we have to continue to do.
then you do.
And how do we continue to do? We do it with an attitude of a karma yogi. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So you only have a right over your action. And whatever the result, take it as prasada. So with this attitude, then you're cleansing your mind. That's the whole point. Why are we doing all this? Finally, so that we clean our mind of all the samskaras, all the vasanas, all the impressions. And when we stay with this, with the prayer, with swadhyaya, with nitya karma, naimitika karma, all of this, what is happening is you're not doing other karma which might add on some more impressions onto you. Then you have to do more cleaning. So that is why japa, chanting, all of this will ensure that you're not accruing some more karma, some more impressions that you have to wash out.
What I feel doing nitya karma means every day whatever wrong thing we have done that get wiped up. Even in the Upanayana, we said na madhyana and means morning, evening, afternoon. Means till that time, if you are doing mornings Sandhya, then whatever happened in the night or anything that get piped up in the afternoon till the afternoon, morning to afternoon. That so nicely everything is taught to us.
Yeah. So you're cleaning the plate then and there, cleaning the
Yeah, means
slate.
oh that present moment you are clear means
Mm.
that.
So they say, no, you have to be initiated into sannyas. So, uh, how does that happen? How does one know that this person is ready for sannyas? Or the teacher will know, or I guess so. That's how it is, no? Because if I go and say I want to become sannyas, take a initiation for sannyasa. So the teacher will say, Guru will say, okay, you're not ready or you're ready. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay,
But
thank
in
you.
art of living, we have now sannyasa training. So I think we should know more about that, how they are teaching or who are means mm, eligible for that.
I see.
I don't know whether there is sannyasi training, but brahmachari training is there. Is there a sannyasi training?
Somewhere I
Maybe
read maybe brahmachari or maybe,
Yeah. There
but
is brahmachari
the
training.
brahmacharya is the first stage, I think, till you don't chare in the Brahma. That means, so you, how will you go to sannyasa towards
Yeah,
sannyasa?
but that is the first ashrama, no? Brahmacharya.
then what is all Swamijis and all that? They are all what?
They're all sannyasis.
But
Oh,
before that,
okay.
they are brahmachari. When they
Mm.
don't get title, they are brahmachari. That
Gurudev
literal
waits. No,
meaning.
he doesn't make them swamis immediately. Some of them have to wait. Some of them had to wait for several months, sometimes years. So the guru knows when the time is right, when the person is actually ready.
And this sannyas or brahmacharya training is only for people who are not in the grahastha, isn't it? Or even they can go.
नहीं नहीं, not married people only.
Hmm.
But see, even for Kashi Bhaiya, how long it took. He has joined Art of Living in the mid of 90s when he was in college. But he was given this Sudarshan Kriya tape only in 2010. See, everybody's journey, how Gurudev knows, no? He had to wait till that time and do all the seva in the ashram.
Hmm.
And now also he is like brahmachari. Guruji has not made him sannyasi. Though from
No, no,
since
no.
teenage
Swami title he has got now.
he has got
Yeah,
still
yes.
that brahmachari. He writes brahmachari. He doesn't say Swami. He himself said brahmachari something Kaushik
Yeah.
brahmachari Kaushik. So really we don't know, and so many people immediately he makes uh, Swamis or something. सबका जर्नी बहुत अलग अलग है.
And Kashibaya is the most happy, prasanna, always smiling, and no, you never seen him with a serious face. Always,
And more approachable also.
yeah, yeah.
Very, we feel so comfortable in his presence.
Hmm.
Very nice. And what knowledge, Bapre.
Mhm. He was my Sri Sri Yoga teacher, and he told us his story, his journey.
And he has mastery over so many languages.
Oh,
Yeah. Marathi, Kannada, Tulu, Gujarati, Hindi, English, of course.
Talent brooms, Guruji says. You get talent also when you reach that level.
We'll slowly come back to the Sat, to the knowledge. We've kind of, I know, one leads to the other. So maybe
Actually,
we
I
can come
wanted to
back to the
say when we
sentence.
are connected to the results, then again all is involved, man, buddhi, chitta, all that, and that impressions and everything. So that is whatever always changing, we get entangled with that, and that makes us bound. So that Sat Asat Viveka, Atma Anatma Viveka, and that clarity will come, no conflict. Then we will be able to come out of this. Uh, mm, Means whatever is happening inside our mind, then that stability will come. Stairyata.
Also, when you have Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, when you have the
In
focus.
Vyavasayaka, in Vyavasayika, only
Yeah,
this will help
yeah.
because in transactional world, we will get drawn all the time. And every
Mm,
moment, if this knowledge is behind the scene, then
mm,
that will not bother you much.
correct.
It will feel very small things.
Mm,
If anyone say any word, we get so disturbed, or they how they will feel, the same thing comes to mind. If I don't do this, how they will feel, but they are in not knowledge, so we have to just smile. That time humor will also work, because people will means give the reaction very differently, if you, because they don't understand that time you, so yeah, their reaction will be different.
Okay, shall I get back to reading?
yes, please.
Objects do not exist independently. When a pot is made, before it is baked, there is only clay. Thus, once upon a time, the pot was clay. When it became a pot, it was clay in the form of a pot. Even though it has been fired, it is nothing but clay. All that has happened is that the clay now has an added attribute, guna, the pot form. This added attribute is what is meant by creation. Creative possibilities are there, but there is no such thing as a clay pot without clay. When we look at anything in the world, we always find that it is a form with a name, depending on some other substantiative vastu. A particular form, rupa, is called asat. It has the nature of its substantiative, but in itself has no bhava. By the time you see an object, it has already changed. It is never the same in the next moment. It is like seeing a film projected on a white screen. It looks as though someone is standing there, but in fact, the frame is continuously changing. Similarly, the frame in one's mind keeps on changing, exactly like a film. This is what makes it possible for us to see motion. Because what you have seen is already gone and you do not see it again in the same form, an object has no real bhava. In a flowing river, you do not get the same water at the same place. It is over, gone, flowing constantly in the flow of time. Similarly, any perception we have is conditioned by time and therefore has the nature of being merely an appearance. It is as though there and not really there because it is always changing. It is as though all the time. All objects in the world are time bound. When you see an object, that object is not seen by you as an independent object. You always see some other thing along with it. When you see a shirt, for example, you also see cloth. When you see cloth, you see a particular material. Thus, you find that the shirt has no existence apart from its cause, karana, the cloth. Not only can you not create a shirt without cloth, you cannot imagine one either. Cloth here refers to any material with which the shirt is made. Without cloth, paper, or some other material, it is impossible to make a shirt, even in your imagination. You can imagine an elephant entering a ear by seeing yourself as very big, but you cannot imagine making a shirt without cloth. No object exists by itself apart from its cause. An object that does not exist independent of something else cannot have the word sat imputed to it. It can only be called asat because sat will be the one upon which the object depends for its bhava. If I remove the cloth, can you wear the shirt? All you will have is the emperor's clothes. There is no such thing as shirt without material with which it is made. For the word shirt, there is no corresponding object at all. Bhava means it must independently exist. And because the cloth is the bhava, the shirt has no independent substantiative status. Now, can you say the cloth with which the shirt is made is sat because it too depends upon something else? Then what is the real sat? That which exists by its own glory and does not depend on anything else for its existence is called sat or satya. Just because something is a cause does not mean it is satya. Causes themselves depend on their causes and therefore are also asat. So it's the analysis. We have to go on analyzing what is the truth. So I guess this is what is called self-enquiry. I never understood what self-enquiry meant until now.
Yeah, again, the creation process, how it exists, how it came out. Brahmaraji, can you explain that Atma Bodha? In Atma Bodha, there was a sequence, no? Prakriti and all that. Then Maya came, then five elements, and then Matra and all that.
Yeah, that was in Tattva Bodh, no?
Oh, sorry, no,
Brahmashraya
Tattva Bodha.
Maya. Yeah. Brahmashraya Maya. Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika Maya Asti. So what is true is just the Brahman. Maya is the abhava, that is the asat that depends upon Brahman. And then it
Asat
is made
doesn't
out,
have
it
its
is
own
characterized
existence.
by, it doesn't have. Can you remove Maya from Brahman and say Maya is an independent existence? No. Maya is dependent upon the Satvastu. Like the snake is dependent upon the rope. Like the water in the mirage is dependent upon on that road. Anatma is therefore dependent upon the Atma. There is not the reverse. Reverse is not true. Otherwise, Atma will not be considered Sat. Sat is that by definition, it is something that exists independently, unchanging, self-luminous.
Again, the Anatma got the form, how
Mm.
it got that 5 elements and that all that.
That is,
And we get attached to that form here in our discussion. That is also we get attached to the form.
that from the process of panchikarana,
Hmm.
of the sattva, rajas, tamo gunas, then the whole world is formed. Stula shariram kim panchikrita pancha mahabhutaihi kritam satkarma janyam sukha dukkadi bhogayatanam shariram asti jayate vardhate viparinamate apakshiyate etat stula shariram. So basically, how from Brahman Maya exists, and from Maya how the three gunas, and then from the division of the three gunas, the stula sukshma karana shariras come into existence, and then it diversifies everything. Everything out there is made up of these three gunas and a combination of all the panchamahabhutas. I think it's good to revise our tattva bodh once.
So
At
here the
least
cause,
read
that
them.
cause
Mm,
of cloth and everything is
mm.
said, no? Okay.
So the 5 elements, my gross understanding is the 5 elements forms the basis for the form, and the 3 gunas are the attributes of that form, right?
Mm, yeah,
Thank you.
that is why we have to become Nistrai Gunya, because the gunas are ingrained in Maya. They're an offshoot of Maya. Therefore, Nistrai Gunya. When Brahman is without guna, Nirguna.
But this Nistraigunya is only for enlightened, no? Like till that time we are reeling in three
Correct.
gunas only.
Mm.
Maybe due to our sadhana and all our knowledge and whatever it is, sattva is more predominant. Maybe up to very high level, but still we are reeling into three
Actually, we are
gunas.
Correct.
dancing on that 3 gunas every
Yeah,
time.
that's what I just wanted to. Maybe we can reduce the rajas and tamas, sattva more predominant and more, but still we are
Of course we are.
99% in trigunas only.
Mm.
But I think as long as we are in this body, these three gunas are going to be there. And if
Correct.
you remember in Guru Puja also, a Guru
Mm.
also is with three gunas. He's not, what
That
is
is
that?
why that's sahitam, na? Triguna sahitam,
Triguna Sahitam.
not rahitam.
Yeah.
What is it? Rahitam and Sahitam. What is the difference?
Rahitam is without and Sahitam is with.
Ah, okay.
But in gunas, it is said, no, in the next chapters we will see the who is at the high means sattva, and the two are dominant. So always there will be some
Something which is
one guna.
predominant.
Yeah. So it is with that gunas we will work, because all
Ultimately,
3 gunas still body we need.
yes. How do we get to that state while being in this body? Is by being a witness to it. You're just being a witness to the play of all the gunas.
Correct. Then it is, even if you look at Gurudev, he is reeling into all these three gunas only.
Yes.
But all the time he is beyond Trigunas.
He is in the witness state.
Ah, so it's very tricky thing actually.
Yeah. Shall we stop here?
Yeah.
It's time to chant the Shanti mantra. So where did you stop? 1 second, Sumaji. This
I
was
stopped here.
okay.
This is page 194. I
Okay,
stopped here.
that's fine.
Why do we see Sat in the Asat? So that's where we have
Mm.
to start. So this Asto is also very nice. No? Where is that? No, we have not come here. We have come. I've stopped here. That we have to do this analysis. That's where we stopped. Because causes themselves depend on their causes and therefore are also asat. So from here you have to start. Why do we see sat in the asat? This is where we are all caught up. Okay. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Except those parts of the body where you feel a tension, the other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here will lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the effort. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes.